morning to all our viewers on MAQ TV. We've been joined here by one of our promising cricketers out of America, and that's Zishawn Qureshi. I know that he's itching to get back on the field because there have been so many plans in store for him this year. Of course, one being the USA T10, MAQ T10 Nationals, as well as the US Open, which is coming up in December. I know that he's out there in Orlando. Been going, Zishawn?
It's been going good. It's a little bit rough with trading, not being able to leave the house so much and so, everything being closed down. But it's just about, getting out, doing some basic running, a few basic exercises, and just trying to keep fit.
Well, I know it's a very frustrating time for you as well as all of your colleagues in the cricketing arena. I know as a reporter, it has been a bit frustrating for me as well. And I know that you normally look forward to cricket on the weekends. Of course, living in America, that's the setup. How has all this impacted you personally, on a personal level, in terms of not getting on that cricket field?
It plays a big role mentally. Part of the game is we have to stay strong mentally. It's a big aspect of cricket. And just not being able to get on that field, not being able to go out there and perform, not being able to go out there and play our favorite game, it's a big struggle. It's just, we want to be able to get out there and do our thing. And, being held back, being held at home, for us here in Orlando, we don't even have nets. So not being able to practice, it really plays a big toll on us.
But how has things been on a personal level? Are you in school at the moment? Has school been out? I know that you also do some work as well. Is that out as well? So are you just confined to your luxurious condo?
No, so for work, we're considered essential workers. So we provide a necessity to people, and I continue to work. I work cautiously because of everything that's going on, but I do continue to work. Outside of work, school has been shifted solely online, so I get to do that from my condo. However, it's tough, going out there and still working with everything going on. You see a lot of stuff you don't want to see.
Yes, definitely. And, you're one of the popular cricketers at the US Open and in America as well, well-known cricketer. Let the people know a little bit about you, Zishawn. You spoke just now about working. Where is that, and what's your profession at the moment? I know it's temporary because you're still a student, but what's your place of employment?
Right now, I just work at a local convenience store / pharmacy. So I take care of the basic stuff, selling medicines, selling foods.
Well, I know that that is essential, but that itself presents a certain level of risk for you. What have you been doing in terms of keeping safe?
You only can do so much. So, we try to use hand sanitizer frequently, wash our hands as much as we can, take that time off, to do the safety basics, wear a mask, wear gloves, things as such, just to make sure that we have all our little precautions in place.
And when you do go back onto that cricket field, players like to use their own body fluids in terms of getting that shine on the ball. How would you feel as a bowler now?
Well, I'm a big shiner of the ball, especially, playing that role as captain, sitting on, mid off. I have to shine the ball a lot. So it's gonna, and putting that spit on the ball, putting that sweat on the ball, it's gonna be interesting to see how people adjust to it. I think this virus is gonna play a big change, make a big change in the world on how people approach things. So where are people gonna get the shine? I don't know. I don't know the comfort level that people are gonna have and the paranoia that people are gonna have at the end of all this.
What's a typical day in your life now? What does Zishawn Qureshi do? I know normally you're very focused, so you do a lot of gym work. You do now you can't go to the gym. I know that you're very particular in what you put into your body in terms of the food and stuff. Give us a typical, and your fans out there, give us a typical day in the life of Zishawn Qureshi in this COVID era.
Yeah, right now it's, I just focus on cooking, cleaning, keeping my apartment tidy, making sure I get proper rest. So still maintaining a schedule, even though there's not as much to do. I can't go to the gym, but I can still go for a little run. I can do some stretching, some band work. So I try to do those, just cook, eat right still. So do a lot of in-home cooking. I make sure I don't order too much food since, we don't want to bring any germs from the outside. So a lot of it is just, waking up early. I try to wake up around 9, sleep by 10, 11 o'clock, cook my breakfast, organize some schoolwork, clean around the house, have some, then, get ready for lunch, do a little run after lunch, do some stretching, watch some TV, have some dinner, just basic things.
But and repeating that day in, day out, are you bored just yet?
I think after the first 3, 4 weeks, it started to get bored. So now we're into the first month. It's really at that stage where it's getting boring, and I really itch to do something else. I was saying this yesterday to one of my friends. I just want to go out and sit with my boys, go out and go to Disney World or something, just I wanted to be out there and just do my thing with my boys, not sit at home, not play games, not watch TV, not cook, not clean, just get out there and do something else.
Well, I know that it must be frustrating. In Trinidad and Tobago, though, there is a situation where we're on a lockdown, so to speak. So all restaurants are closed. So you're forced to cook at home. So those who can't cook might see some problems with that. You spoke just now about cooking. Are you a good cook or an even better cook than Mohammed Qureshi?
That's a competition we need to have. He has some early experience in his early days in US working as a chef as well in breakfast places and such. So I've taken some cooking courses myself. I can cook some decent meals, but when you live alone, you learn to cook. So, living
That was
alone
my
from,
next point. That was my next point. I think the fact that you were living alone, going to school in Orlando, and your family's home is in Boca Raton, that would have prepared you for this situation. Don't you think so?
yeah. So before living alone in Orlando, I lived alone in North Carolina for 2 years as well. So I've been on my own now for nearly 4.5 years. So just, it helped in the sense of knowing, I need to stock up, knowing on what groceries to buy, knowing on what kind of meals I can cook and what kind of meals I can cook that last longer. So knowing what I could cook and put away for days, knowing what I could cook and eat for days, just trying to make sure, how I could portion my meals so that they last longer. And these are all things you learn while living alone.
Yes, definitely. And I was just thinking the other day that probably one of the best places to be quarantined at is at the Boca Palace, where your dad lives, because there you have a cricket net, you have the swimming pool, there's a massive expanse of land you can trade, and you guys, I've been there on many occasions. I've seen lodged in the ceiling softballs, which means that you all normally play cricket in the house. Um, I'm sure that the thought has crossed your mind. Should I go back home just a little bit during this pandemic?
Yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind. My father has been pushing for it. He wants the family to be home and safe. Unfortunately, still working, being a necessity worker and, having that responsibility. I haven't gone home as of yet, but it's definitely a thought that's crossed the mind.
Yes, definitely so. And what has been the conversation, Zishawn, with your fellow cricketers? I know you're close to guys like Muhammad Ali Khan and all these others. What has been your conversation with them uh, during this period? I know that cricketers in the Caribbean here, they've stated that they have been supporting each other. What has been your conversation with your friends?
I actually spoke to Ali Khan a couple of days ago and a few other cricketers. There was one I got in touch with from the DC area last night. And a big part of our conversation has always been, what kind of meals are we cooking? What kind of fitness are we doing? What are some exercises we can do at home? What type of band work should we be doing? Just, how we should be maintaining things at home in this, with the situation we have, especially for me in Orlando, we have a stay at home order too. So a full lockdown, day in, day out. And they don't want you outside as much. Yes, you can go out for a run or such, but at the end of the day, every minute you're outside of the house, you're risking something.
Yes, we're speaking about conversations with fellow cricketers. I'm sure you being who you are, these guys are probably asking you certain questions. Will the MAQ T10 be postponed or is it cancelled at the moment? Um, what do you think? Will we have the US Open this year? What has been that conversation?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. Obviously, a lot of the virus is predictions. No one knows when it's going to end. No one knows how it's going. I mean, out here in US, we have over 600,000 cases and nearly 25,000 deaths.
Wow.
So it's really tough out here. Florida is still getting worse. I think the biggest problem is we still have flights coming in from New York, which is one of the hot centers of the world for the virus. So the fact that they're still flying from New York and the virus is still carrying through the air, that poses a big problem on, when's cricket going to happen. I already know our league our league is thinking not in Orlando is thinking nothing will happen before September.
Well,
So
in
people are
conversation
prepared.
with,
People are prepared for this to go a long time, but I'm hoping, by December come US Open, everything is, back to normal.
well, I was speaking with one of the medical officials in Chicago, and he was telling me that US Open in December more than likely should be okay, but it's very difficult for anyone to predict, as you rightly said. In conversation with Mark, though, he's thinking that probably September for the MAQ T10, the USA Nationals, which is a very critical part of the calendar in American cricket. We all cross our fingers and we hope that that could happen because with guys like yourself and the cricketers in America down at the moment in terms of downing their tools, it's going to be very difficult. You all are still on the upward learning curve, and no cricket is going to be crippling.
Yeah, definitely. America has been making some big strides, within the cricketing world, getting ODI status and all.
And how critical is that T10 tournament? I know it's in its third year. Was it the fourth? And it has come on as a very, very popular league across there in America. It's something that is in the calendar.
T10, T10 is a big game, and it's a perfect game, I feel like, for US. Attention-wise,
It's a perfect game for you.
for me too. But within US, there's been a lot of interest. Outside of just the MAC T10, you see a lot of leagues and a lot of people conducting T10 tournaments. The reason is you can do them in a day or two. You can have 6-8 teams and finish in 2 days. It's very easy. It's very easy to host these tournaments, and it's very easy to, be able to complete these tournaments, and everyone has fun. That's the biggest part. I think, part of the American attention span, it's a small attention span, and people just want to see balls flying. So to be able to go out there and just put on a show, and, you only have 10 overs, so you don't have to play strategy as much.
And
So
that is something that you particularly like. Just before the break, though, I've been following your season so far. You've been doing pretty well. But just before the break, where was your form at?
my last game before the break, I hit a nice 70 odd off
Mhm.
40 some balls. I think you wrote an article about it.
Yeah.
Um, I had a lot of good games. I had a nice US Open, so I was in a nice spot. Things were going well for the last 8-9 months, and I really just hope I can maintain my fitness, and when I get back on the field, I can maintain that form.
Speaking about fitness, Sean, a lot of cricketers are saying, and even the professionals are saying as well, that cricket, as you well know, is uh, a great part of it is your mental strength. They are using this time, some of them, to work on their mental strength, to work on, thinking about where their game is at, where they will want it to be, and also looking to map a way forward. Has that been the case with you?
So that's actually one of the toughest things right now because the situation, albeit with the lockdown and all, I think it's very tough for us to stay strong mentally. But as we do as we run thought processes such as where are we going to be, where do we want to go, that helps us maintain that strength mentally. So the more you think, the more thought you put into something, the more plans you make, the more goals you set. These are little things we can do on a daily basis that will help us maintain that strength mentally.
And I know on a personal note, you were due to come to Trinidad and Tobago at the KRCA Academy. They've been asking for you, but now they don't ask anymore because they're in lockdown as well. You're still a very young guy, although when you think about Zishawn Qureshi and your history, it seems as if you have been playing cricket ever since. But you're still a very young guy. So I guess that opportunity to come to KRCA would still be there and may well present itself later on this year or even early next year.
Yeah, I was talking to Ali Khan about this the other day. He said probably the best place for me to be after this lockdown is over is, Trinidad. Work on my cricket, just play my game and just, stay fit, just, put in some work in the gym, just polish myself a little bit and get ready for the season ahead.
Well,
So it's
if
definitely
I may
something I'm looking forward to.
yes, definitely. If I may just look around to my right, your quarters is already arranged. So I guess we all wait for the virus to go on, and then you can come and probably, um, assume your position here. Your kitchen is there. Everything is here.
There you go.
So definitely we'll be looking forward to welcoming you in Trinidad. I know that the guys at KRCA, they're eagerly waiting to work with you because they have been following your career as well. Because some of the articles that would have been written about you appear on the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. So people know about you and, they know the talent. So they want to work with that. I'm sure, you're really itchy to just get a ball in your hand.
Yeah, I still, I pick up the ball every couple hours and just, look at it, spin it a bit, play around with it. But there's only so much you can do out here. I mean, obviously I can still ball to a wall, still do some basic stuff, but I don't have the full facilities where I can go out and bat, go out and have a hit. And I think that's one of the biggest things is just not being able to get out there and do a full session.
Well, you may just want to jump in your SUV and drive down to Boca because, as I said before, your dad has a complete cricket net. And he's a decent bowler, so you'll get a good workout there as well.
Definitely, I think when I get some time off work, that's one of the first things I want to do is just have a net.
Yeah, I think it's good to keep fit. Liam is here as well, and he is also frustrated because the first round of the national under 17 had started. Just one game was played, and he returned figures of 6 overs. I think it was none for 15 in that match, opening the bowling, and the second wrong was just 2 days away before the country went on a lockdown. So he himself is frustrated because I don't have a cricket net home, and you can't step out of the house to go to the playing field, which is just 5 minutes away. Brian Lara Cricket Academy is just about 6 or 7 minutes away from us as well. But I see the frustration in him, and I see the frustration in guys like yourself. Playing cricket on the computer, it just doesn't fit. It's just something to pass the time. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I grew up playing those games on the computer, and I mean, it can be fun and all for a little bit, but it doesn't match up to being out on the field and us doing what we love. So it's definitely very difficult. There is a lot of frustration there, but as I said before, as you said earlier, it's very good for us to put those thoughts in and put our time into developing the mental part of the game, coming up with some plans and some goals for the future, seeing where we were before, seeing where we are now, and seeing where we want to go later.
I know that no one could predict when the world will return to normal. I don't think the world will ever, in my opinion, I don't think we will ever return to the way we were before. I think there will be a new normal, but one still has to be optimistic and plan forward. I know Cricket Council USA and Mark as the leader, behind the scenes, we have been planning for the US Open as if it's going to happen definitely in December. We have to plan. What about you in terms of planning the composition of the US All Stars, of which you are the captain? Have you given that any thought? Are players still messaging you? I know you get numerous messages wanting to come and play at the US Open.
Yeah, I think the messages have been on pause for a bit. I think, most players are focused on just keeping game ready. So there will be a time soon where the team has to start going into building. Come summer, whether it's over or not, I'll have to start putting some names together and, contacting some people, getting options ready to build the US All-Stars. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be all on, where the virus is come summer and, how much we can really do. I'll definitely always have players' names in mind. And, come summer, players will start looking for, their setups for US Open. But it's just going to be, where the virus is then.
I know that there was also a planned tour at the end of the PSL for the US All Stars to go to play the Multan Sultans. That obviously is off as well. So the frustration keeps growing.
Yeah, there's a lot of cricket that we had planned. There was another tournament I was playing, the Last Man Stands, out in Miami. So I had a lot of cricket planned for, myself, for, my club out here. I have Orlando Stars out here as well, a little fraction of US All-Stars. So, I plan a lot of cricket for myself. I plan a lot of cricket for my boys out here. And I think, the biggest part is we lost all that. And we're just waiting to see when we can get back on the field now.
Yes, and I think that's the day that everyone will really look forward to. I think that this year's US Open, and Maq has said it, it will take a different turn. It'll be very special. Because I think the fact that you guys as cricketers can't go out there to play at this point in time, it gives you that hunger. So whenever you go onto the cricket field now, you would want to prove yourself. You'll be hungry for cricket, as well as you would appreciate the opportunity that CCUSA has given all of you.
Yeah, I believe, when US Open does come around, a lot of people will still be looking, they'll be looking to play cricket because of the time off. And I think that time off will do exactly as you say, build that hunger. So a lot of the guys will be interested in US Open. A lot of bigger players will be looking into their calendars, and if they're available, they'll be looking to come out here. No one knows where the ICC schedule is going to go, but I know there will be a lot of players and a lot of big competition looking forward to the US Open. It's grown to become a huge tournament. Last year we had a lot of solid players, a lot of solid teams. we had teams like the team from Afghanistan. The Afghans won, and they didn't even make the playoff. They struggled in the tournament. And I think a big part of it is having those big players on every single team. There's no small fish anymore. Every team's a big fish. Every team's a big team. So it's good competition. And I believe, once this tournament comes around this year, it'll be even that much harder and that much more exciting because of what we're going through right now.
You think about T20 cricket, and some of the biggest players in T20 cricket around the world, they have played at the US Open. So Ryan, Kyron Pollard, Evan Lewis, Nicholas Puran, if I can just name a few. The Bravo brothers played under you at the US All Stars as well. So some of the top players, they've been there. Ali Khan plays, you have Jaspran Malhotra, and, Saeed Najaf Shah, Mohammed Khalil. All these players, they play at the US Open. Such is the quality. And I'm sure that this year, you'll be getting more requests from even greater players to come into the setup at the US Open. One mustn't forget your good friend, Wayne Parnell.
Yeah, definitely. Wayne's expressed interest again, so players like him will definitely be looking forward to playing. And I think, the team, on terms of the team, especially for me, I'm looking to do something different this year. Obviously, it will still be a strong team, but I'm looking to try and diversify the team a bit and see what combination of guys I can build, what kind of winning combination I should say. Getting to the semifinals the last 3 years since our victory in 2016, it's been frustrating, reaching the semis and dropping out from there. So we're really looking forward to a finals race this year and possibly a championship.
Well, just before I wrap this interview, Sean, I want to thank you for being with us. But tell us, have you seen any good movies? What's your favorite movie? And what has really piqued your interest during this period of lockdown?
I haven't watched many movies, but I've been watching some TV shows, a lot of comedies. I'm a big one for comedy. I'm also a big one for romance, but romance is mainly movies. Obviously, Bollywood's a big thing, so there's a lot of romance within it. I think my favorite TV show, though, that I've been watching has been Schitt's Creek. Obviously, the name is Schitt's Creek, so it's a bit of an odd TV show. Yeah. But it's about a rich family who loses all their money and moves to a town in the middle of nowhere called Schitt's Creek.
Yes, definitely. So, it's very good that you can take in the comedies because you want to be, like-minded around this time. You just want to relax. You don't want anything heavy because, you don't want to get yourself into a hole in terms of taking on this entire situation that the world has gripped the world. But just before we go, your advice for your fans out there during this period of the COVID-19?
My biggest advice would be to take all the precautions. Whether you think they're absurd, whether you think there's too many different precautions you can take, take all of them, take as many as you can. The world's changing. The times right now are very rough. I know it, it can be frustrating, but, you only can do so much. But if you don't do anything, then what's the point? At least do something, because if you don't take any precautions, you're going to get it. If you don't take any precautions, you'll still get it. You might get it after taking the precautions, but taking the precautions will make you feel that much safer.
Sean, we want to thank you for being on MAQ TV with us. And we all look forward to that day when we can return to the park to hear the sweet song of Willow on Leather, as you will be back playing your cricket and saying that. I remember a few scorching cover drives last year that you played during the US Open that has stuck with me. We all look forward to seeing some more of that.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it for us here at MAQ TV at this moment. We were speaking with one of the upcoming rising stars in America, Zishawn Qureshi. He was having an absolutely brilliant season before this whole situation of COVID-19 took over. But he has promised to keep working hard, and he will be back to continue his good work and to continue to entertain you. Good morning.